Today I'm going to teach you about one of my favorite communication tools in business called the empathy loop. It comes out of this book, Beyond Winning. This is a book that's really aimed at lawyers for mediation, but it is really centered on other topics for negotiation. The subtitle here is Negotiation to Create Value in Deals and Disputes, and it's a super hardcore book, but there's some real gold in here. And I first stumbled upon this book because I was devouring everything that Chris Voss wrote. He wrote the book Never Split the Difference. He's an ex-FBI hostage negotiator. He has so much gold in that book and in his masterclass. I'm definitely heavily influenced. You'll hear me mention him throughout that. But he mentioned this book in regards to empathy. And, empathy and emotional intelligence are big buzzwords in business today, mostly because they're effective, but I don't think a lot of people really know how to execute on these things. I have been testing this particular empathy loop for the last year or two in some of the work that I do as a consultant in the M&A world. So I deal in a lot of deals, and I was able to test this quite a bit, and it definitely worked. It's a great way to de-escalate tensions in high-pressure situations and get common understandings and get to an agreement in many things. So I'm going to just go through it real quick with you. It's here in the second chapter of this book. It is in the second chapter. It's called The Tension Between Empathy and Assertiveness. Now, I absolutely love that one because how much of us are always battling between, you don't want to be a pushover, but you don't want to be too assertive as well, because that's also not a very effective technique, especially as a leader in a business. So that tension between empathy and assertiveness is something that we always have to be aware of, and there's a fine balance in there. So I'm going to run through the steps really quick, and then we'll circle back through them one by one, and I'll give you my take on them and kind of my experience from going through and using this loop over the last 2 years. So the first one is that you inquire. Second one is that the other side responds. The third one is you demonstrate your understanding and test with the other side. And then the fourth is that if they confirm your understanding, you move on to the next. Otherwise, you have to re-ask questions and figure out where you may have gone wrong or misunderstood the other side's point of view. So the first thing is you inquire. So one of the things that I started doing before I ran across Chris's book is using open-ended questions. So if you're familiar with open-ended questions, you know that they're questions that don't result in a yes or no. So in Chris's books, he says basically use how or what. There's other variations of open questions such as where. If you can think about a police interrogation that you see on TV, they're asking a lot of open-ended questions, and they're really, really effective for extracting information that you may not know. When you start to ask yes or no questions, you're already kind of demonstrating that you think you understand what's going on. What you really want to do is ask, how or what. And in Chris's books, he talks about never ask why, because it can be seen as offensive. So if you could just imagine, why did you do this? Why did you do that? That's often confrontational in some way. So you can ask a how or what question and really let the other side feel in control. And also the benefit to you is you're going to learn information that you may have not known and that may be exposed or brought up from the other side that would be useful to you or also help you clarify your understanding. So the first thing is that you inquire, and then the other side responds, so that you really have to listen when the other side responds. There's so much now written about listening and active listening and everything about listening. For me personally, what I've come back to is I really strongly believe that I can learn something from everybody, no matter what the situation is. I'm just eager to be better than I was coming into a conversation. I'm not perfect in that. There's oftentimes that there'll be an emotional exchange, and I won't be in that perfect state of mind. But most of the time, I come back to that place that I have a true belief that I can learn something from everyone. In a business situation, and when there's a negotiation on a line that will result in a transaction or some other kind of finding of some sort, it's critical that you listen. Then the third step is that you demonstrate briefly an understanding of the other side's statement. So in Chris's book, he uses a term called labeling. It's pretty well known term, and you basically respond with certain words like it sounds like you're saying so and so and this. It seems like it's this. class. He goes into great depth about it, but you echo back. The short of it that they have in this book is that you echo back very, very brief, kind of paraphrasing what the other side has said. You can use certain keywords that they brought up, the main points, and really to demonstrate your understanding of the other side's point of view. So then if they confirm your understanding, that's great. Then you move on. A lot of times, if you do this well, you will build so much rapport with someone over time that they feel completely understood. And the benefit of it is this is not trying to manipulate. You're really trying to understand the other side. This is something to think about. The empathy loop, if you just sum it up again, ask open-ended questions to people. Don't ask yes or no questions. Start with how or what. Let them respond, really listen, really believe that you're going to learn something from them, and then cite back, paraphrase back to the other side what you have heard in short form to demonstrate your understanding. This technique works super, super well in your business life and your personal life, and I hope this helps you. I'm going to drop some links below because I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put this video, so wherever you see this, whether it be on LinkedIn or YouTube or on Facebook or anything like that, click any of the links that I share below for linking up with me personally. So this is beneficial. Check out this book. It's a really good one. Chris Voss's classes on Masterclass is amazing. I found it very helpful to have read his book prior. Never Split the Difference, so I definitely recommend that as well. And hopefully this improves your life. Thank you so much, and have a good one.